Alrighty guys, good morning and welcome back to the channel. So do you guys remember the second gen Tundra that I installed the Dasaita head unit on a while back? That same buddy of mine who unfortunately had to sell that truck because he couldn't fit that truck in his garage of his new house. And so he sold it, which is kind of sad, but he had to sell it and he hopped into the 2019 4runner that I'm in right now. And when he bought it, he hit me up. He was like, dude, we have to do the Dasaita head unit once again. And I was like, let's do it. Bring it to me so I can show you guys how it comes out and do an install for all you guys out there that have the 4runner here, man. So there's two options from Dasaita, by the way. There's a 9-inch version, which is more of like an OEM Plus style, and the 10.25-inch version for this thing as well, which is going to be awesome either way because we're going to have the CarPlay, Android, all the freaking apps you can get. I've had mine now for about, I think, going on about a year, maybe 10 or 11 months on my 25 third gen Tundra. I had the original 8-inch screen from Toyota on my Tundra. I'd show you guys right now, but he took my Tundra for the day to give me the 4runner here so I could show you guys the head unit here from Dasaita. But 12-inch version from Dasaita, which looks very OEM-like, looks like the 12-inch OEM screen from Toyota, except it has a lot more features because you have the Google Play Store for one, which has all kinds of apps from YouTube to Hulu, Netflix, games, you can surf the web, has Apple CarPlay, Android. One of the best mods I've done to that truck to upgrade the interior. Before we get started, here's the OEM screen. So we have some apps here like navigation, audio settings, phone, messages, traffic, weather, and some big buttons here on the sides. We're going from the before to the after. Oh my, bro, that's gonna look so much better in here, but also very kind of an OEM look too because you have the very similar knobs, same color trim. We're retaining the factory air vents. The hazard button right here as well is going into the new one, so it's got a very OEM just plus look to it, which is awesome. So here's everything in front of me that came in the box, and it seems like a lot of stuff, but we're not installing everything you guys see in front of me because, for example, right here it's a bracket for a 2010 to a 2013. So we're not using that. Pry tools there as well and some zip ties. And if you guys are doing this at home, the installs, the instructions are very, very simple to follow along with because you have all these very nice detailed photos, even though it's the same generation of the 4runner here, the 2010 to 2013 with the non-JBL, 2010 to 13 with the JBL. You would follow along with that graph right there. Here's 2014 to 2019. That's the one we're gonna be using right there. And then 2020 to 2023 down here. So first step we're gonna do is remove these trim pieces right here and the AC control unit and unplug that, and that's pretty much the first step. So all we got to do is either, I think, maybe just kind of grab it, or yeah, pretty much to make it easier, we'll grab the pry tool and just kind of give it a little bit of a lift up off the edge and get it going just like that. And then it's on clips, so it's very easy to get out just like that. Passenger side's out. All there is to it on that step. So the two trim pieces are free and clear. And now the next step is to pull out the AC control unit. So pretty easy, just kind of give it a little tug there on the side and this thing comes right out. Also, we're gonna pull the little harness off back here and get it unclipped here, off here. Just hit those little tabs right there and it should fall right through. Just like that, free and clear. Next step is to remove these 10 screws down here, which holds down the actual head unit here. So this will all come out once these 4 screws down here with a 10 mil head come out. And 4 are out. So now what we'll do is go ahead and just kind of pull the whole head unit out and then we'll get it unplugged, and then that's pretty much it for the uninstallation of the OEM head unit. So let's get to that. Even pressure all the way through, so like don't just give all your force to one little area because then you're more prone to like breaking something. Just give it like a nice even tug side to side, use both hands, just give it like a nice even pull toward you, and then this thing is out, and then we have some harnesses on the back side to unplug, and that's pretty much going to be it. I'm sure there's quite a few of them here, but they're all pretty easy to unfasten because, as you guys can see, let me zoom in a little bit there for you. We have these little tabs right here. You just press that on each one and it releases it. So go ahead and do that on each one and this thing will be out just like that. Ladies and gentlemen, the radio is free and clear. Bye-bye to the OEM. Okay, so on the left side here is the Dasaita head unit, and that's the OEM head unit right there. So the first thing I'm gonna do is pull off all these yellow clips and transfer these over to the new setup. Then take off these brackets and transfer those over to the new head unit also. And we'll work on getting the air vents taken over also. So what I'm doing to make it easy is grab the bottom edge with your finger, and then the top one, use the pry tool, and it slides right out super easily, and then just go ahead and clip it right onto the new one, just like that. And then toss it right in, just like that. That part's done. Now, I'm gonna pull off the OEM bracket off the OEM head unit here. Other side. Next step, I'm gonna pull off these air vents, which are clipped in there, and then transfer it over to the new head unit. Pretty easy. I'm just gonna grab the back side of it and just kind of give it a pull, and it unclips just like that. And then pop it right into the new one, and then just like that, it clipped right in. I think to make it easier for me getting the hazard button in, I'll wait until I install the other half of the other side of the vent on this one. Leave this vent out, and then I'm gonna get the hazard button from here to this one. That way I have more room to work with and not squeeze between the middle of two vents. So there's two little tabs I'm trying to hit, but it's hard for you guys to kind of see. Let me try to show y'all here. Hold on. You guys can kind of see it right there. Little tab. Hit that tab, and then we're gonna push forward, and that's it. And then I'm gonna push it all through the hole, just like that. Same way it came out, it's the same way it'll go in. Right through the middle, and boom. And now, throw the air vent in. There we go. All right, we're all transferred over there with the air vents. Okay guys, now I have the new head unit here and the OEM bracket that came off of the OEM head unit. Now I'm gonna line these two holes up right there, and using the factory screws, throw that right in there. Kind of hand tight that one for now, and then take this one. Okay, other side, same thing. Nice and snug. Nothing too wild, there we go. Now the wire coming off of the hazard button clips right into the bracket right, just like that. That's it. Now next thing I'm gonna do is take off this upper tray piece right here. Got a little Phillips head right there. It's pretty small. One right there and one right there. Just like that, two little screws, 1 and 2. And then I think we just slide it, there we go, yeah. All right, and now we'll take that and then transfer it over to the new one. Slide it right in, some way, somehow, there we go, I think, yep, just like that. Oh, no. Now we'll take these screws and throw them in the same spot. Alrighty. Well, there we go. All set. Time to wire. So over here on the instructions, you guys can see based off of our year, since we're the 2014 to 2019, we're only gonna use what we see in the image right here. So of these 4 bundles, in our case, it's gonna be this one right here. These 3 are not gonna be for us. So we can put those to the side and not worry about those. The nice thing is all these have a dedicated home. You can't put them in the wrong spot. That's the nice thing, is it can't go into the wrong place because they're all sized individually for each harness. So for example, this one here, which has the backup camera in, subwoofer in, stuff like that, you can only put it into one specific place. It won't fit into any other spot. This wire harness bundle right here got the front camera, so you can add a front camera and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. We'll go ahead and add that in case he ever wants to add a front camera or anything else that's gonna come off of this wire bundle. There is a little mic port here on the front, and I'm not too sure if you can just leave the external mic out and that'll work as a mic. I'm not too sure. Here is some USB connections. So we hook this into the back of the head unit and then feed these out. We have USB and also one that says phone link. Now the wire bundle I was showing you guys that we have 1 to choose from of the 4. There's only 1 male connector and the rest are female. So we'll take the 1 male connector and hook it up right into the back of the head unit, just like that, and then it clicks in. Now once we hop inside of the car, we'll just start attaching some of the factory harnesses into here and then just get it kind of put back into the dash. And that's really kind of it. It's very simple. So here on the back of the head unit, we have all of these female connections, and coming out of the car, we have the male connections. We'll find a home for the male connections here with the female connections and then just get it thrown back in pretty much. That's going to be basically it. Let's start plugging some stuff in, man. There we go. So yeah, again, don't worry about putting stuff in the wrong place because you literally can't. There's one connector size on the female side per 1 male side. So you can't put stuff in the wrong place. So in this case, we're gonna leave all these capped because we're not using those. Okay, final steps. I got the little antenna on there, little Wi-Fi antenna right there, twisted on, and then also the 4G antenna, which is this guy right here. So the move here is to go bottom first. That way you get around the trim here, and then pop it in, up top afterwards, and then that's it, pretty much. Just like that, we are all set. I think it's time to remove the protective liner. What do you think? Do we do it or let him do it? I think we're doing it. Sorry, bro. We're doing it. We're doing it. Oh my goodness. The satisfaction is unreal. So fit and finish is really, really good all the way around. It fits. I mean, it's on point. Silver on there matches the OEM silver like perfect. So it looks very natural. Looks like it's part of the car from factory, honestly. But now the best part, man, we gotta fire it up. I already tried it out. Got my CarPlay hooked up to it. Might stop recording here in a second, but let's see. So on the CarPlay menu here, it'll show you a icon here that says car. When you hit that, it takes you back to the operating system of the actual head unit. Hit that. Now we're out of CarPlay and back in the actual operating system of the head unit. And so now we got some apps here. We can download a lot more, which is really fun because we have the Google Play Store right here, which is really cool. You can download stuff like Hulu and like Netflix and the YouTube app and games for whoever. It's really fun. And also too, it does have, you can just hotspot your phone to it too. We do have full function of the steering wheel controls, volume work, skip track, all that. The buttons do work here on the steering wheel just fine. So that's good to go. And yeah, navigation, radio, that's pretty straightforward, man. Apple CarPlay and then hit the car icon, take you back to the operating system. And you have all the stuff you can play with and then some. I love having that Google Play Store to download all kinds of apps. If you sign in, then you can access all kinds of apps, and it's really fun. Yeah, overall, I mean, the fit and finish is really nice. Like they always do, they do a great job at just perfecting or nearly perfecting for an aftermarket unit the fitment of it. And just the way it performs overall is really good. Actually, it's kind of faster using their own operating system as opposed to CarPlay. It's a little bit laggier, but at the same time, I am using wireless CarPlay, so maybe that has something to do with it. So I plugged in the microphone into the back of the head unit, and I called my buddy up, and I was like, hey, do you hear me pretty good on this microphone? And he said, yeah, I hear you pretty good. And then I unplugged it and used this mic right here, and I was like, do you still hear me pretty good? And he was like, yeah, I still hear you just fine. So we didn't run the microphone that you can then hook up somewhere like up here. We didn't run that at all. We're going to use this one here for his, wireless calling needs or whatever. But yeah, point is that does work pretty good. We are back in the Tundi. Nick brought it back in one piece, so shout out Nick. Kind of smells like pizza in here, but here's my 12-inch Dasaita head unit here, my 2025 Tundra, my 3rd gen Tundra, and it came with the 8-inch screen, which I have back here to show you guys. It was a massive upgrade going from the 8-inch right here to the 12-inch from Dasaita, which looks very OEM. I don't think anybody would know the difference by looking at it, even though we have these black air vents it came with, which you have the option for black or silver here on this truck. I don't think it comes OEM with that option. Only thing though is down here, you'd have a volume knob from the factory with your factory 12-inch screen, which this, again, looks very OEM, but is not OEM. This is the Dasaita head unit, and it would normally come with that volume knob right there. So how I adjust the volume is either on the steering wheel, which is what I do, or tap that volume icon up there, wait for it to go away, there we go. Tap that and then adjust it like that. Anyways, it's a very similar system to the one I put into Nick's 4runner. Same operating system. It may be updated now or something like that, but same overall concept in terms of the operating system. We have the Apple CarPlay, which I have an Apple iPhone, so I use CarPlay, but also has the Android Auto. And then also we have my sort of quick functions right here. This is the main first page screen. We have the quick settings right here also, which no matter which page we're on, that stays the same. Home's right there. We got the volume right there, brightness. That's how you close out some tabs. Scrolling through here though, so I have a couple more apps than he has because I didn't sign my phone into, or my Google account into his head unit, but I have the YouTube app, I have Google Chrome, which is how you surf the web, Hulu, Amazon for shopping on Amazon on my freaking car screen. Front camera too, which I don't have hooked up, but it does have the option for a front camera, just like on Nick's 4runner also. The gyrometer, which I have here on my quick setting, which is when you're off-road, shows you your angles and whatnot, which is pretty cool. There's Android Auto. We have some control settings right there for the truck itself, stuff like auto door lock, auto door unlock, auto relock timer, daytime running lights, stuff like that. We can go back right there and keep scrolling through these apps that I have. Google Maps, I have Facebook, I have Instagram, which I don't use those on this thing, but we have Waze and Spotify too. So all those apps are actually downloaded onto the head unit itself, which I have about 1/4 of a terabyte of memory. The head unit came with some videos right here under gallery. We can tap that and watch a video that came with this thing to show you guys kind of the quality. Kind of hard to show on video here, but it's really nice quality in person, and combined with my my sound system, it's a really cool experience in here watching videos on YouTube and movies and stuff. So like I said too, I've had mine for about a year now and I've had no issues at all with this. I'll show you guys some of the settings here we can play with on the actual head unit itself. Wallpaper is one of them, so we can go to the wallpapers it came with. You can also upload your own too. Haven't done that myself, but you guys can do that. Maybe upload a Toyota logo or something like that for the background, or a selfie of yourself or something like that. Whatever you want, man. But tap whatever image you want, hit set wallpaper, go back to the main menu here, or home I mean, and then boom, you have a new wallpaper right there. So how I have my setting right now for the brightness adjustment is on auto in terms of daytime and nighttime. So if we go here to car and then down here to extra settings, and then brightness mode, mine's set to auto. If the headlights turn on though, which right now they're off, then it turns everything to dark mode. And if the headlights are off, then it's back to light mode, or you can set it to always be on dark mode or always be on light mode. But I set mine to auto, and that's how I keep mine. A lot of ways you can modify, just to customize this thing the way you want it is awesome, and all the apps you can get is just really cool. The fit and finish is awesome. It looks OEM, and I love that about it because it's an OEM, you know, look, but a lot more function to it. All the apps you can get, freaking shopping apps like Amazon, which is hilarious, and games too for yourself or the kids. Surf the web right there. It's really cool. Everything the Play Store has to offer is what you can download onto the actual head unit itself. How do we, oh, that's how you do that. So to change your quick settings, just hold the icon that you want to change and then just change it to the one that you want, like amplifier right there now. Put YouTube right there front and center, bada bing, bada boom. And we can take these and move them around also. So now that we're in night mode, the wallpaper options are different for night mode. Now we can choose a night mode wallpaper. So just hit whatever wallpaper you want, hit set wallpaper, and now it's our wallpaper for nighttime. So really cool, man. And that is going to pretty much wrap it up for today. If you guys have any questions about anything from today's video, then drop a comment down below or DM me on Instagram at Mark_Brenner. Happy to answer any questions I can answer to help you guys out with anything you guys need. Yeah, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on the next one very soon. Till then, see you later. Oh yeah, and also too, I'm currently the highest bidder on a 2001 Silverado with the 5.3 and 103,000 miles on it. Bone stock, not even window tint done to it, and it does need some TLC. It's a bit of a fixer-upper, which will be a lot of fun. And if I win the bid, tomorrow morning it ends. I'm currently the highest bidder, so we'll see. If it doesn't get much more expensive, then I'll go for it, and we'll go down to pick it up in about a week from now, and that'll be fun to kind of tinker on here on the channel, see what happens by tomorrow, and we'll go from there. So wish me luck on the bid. Also guys, don't forget to shop screenprotect.com for some protection for your vehicles, because, well, protection is very important. I have it on my Ram right now and the Tundra for all of those very sensitive areas like the gauge cluster, my gear shift surround on my Tundra. It looked so bad before putting on the protection from screenprotect.com. That piano black finish around the gear shift surround on my Tundra is super, super easy to scratch, along with the gauge cluster. That was in bad shape also, and I threw on the films and they made it look brand new again, which is amazing. Here on the Ram, I have the anti-glare finish. When the sun's coming in at the right angle, or should I say the wrong angle, during like sunset and stuff like that, where it hits my screen and it takes down a lot of the glare and doesn't blind me right in my face at that like afternoon hour. So pretty cool right there having the anti-glare finish for that. But they also have their HD version, which is the clear, nice and glossy finish, and makes it look great, and also protection against the future scratches also, while reducing the look of the old ones too. In my case, it looks brand new again, even though it was in really rough shape, man. So shop screenprotect.com down in the description below. It's good stuff, man. So get you guys some protection, because protection is important. Don't go without it. Use protection.